Offensive Player of the Year, with Tyreek Hill, Lamar Jackson up for another award here, CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, and Dak Prescott, for some reason, is on this list. Um, Honestly, when I talk about this list, what is more impressive? What Justin Jefferson did with missing time and how he still had the amount of yards he did, or what Dak Prescott did this year? And for me, it's like he was out for, I believe it was 6 games,
7.
7 games, and then he still had over 1,000 yards receiving, and then he was still up there with the top receivers in the league. Like, you want to talk about dominant, you want to talk about one of the best offensive players in the league, like, that's a lot more impressive than having the most touchdowns in the league, which is what Dak Prescott did this year. But I think it would be between Christian McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. Another person I would shout out for someone who had an injury is someone like Kyron Williams, who
Yeah.
missed 5 games and was on pace to have 1,800 scrimmage yards, was third in the NFL in rushing yards. I think he's another guy that you could have shouted out. Of those, I would say CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, and Christian McCaffrey should be in that conversation. In our who should deserve the MVP, Christian McCaffrey's there. So
Yeah.
if he doesn't get MVP, then give him most valuable offensive player of the year. Tyreek Hill did miss some time, and CeeDee Lamb had a couple of games that we could point to, but Christian McCaffrey was consistent through it all. Had a full season of touchdowns. Can't place that either. And then also, like, if Lamar Jackson wins the MVP, he shouldn't also win Offensive Player of the Year. I
No.
think that's ridiculous. If you're going to make the MVP the quarterback award, then you can't do the same thing and have him also take the Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think with Christian McCaffrey, it's like he's been the most dominant offensive player from start to finish.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah, I think that's a fair case there. So, I would go Christian McCaffrey there as well. So, I would have him taking the MVP and the Offensive Player of the Year. Probably the first player in history to do that outside of Adrian Peterson, I believe, was the last person who did it.